Hey guys, how's it going? Thomas here. In this video is going to be a little bit different. I am announcing something very exciting at the end, which I'm super pumped about. But before I do that, I wanted to kind of start with some kind of thoughts I've been having and get a little bit more kind of personal with you guys, because in this channel I give a lot of advice and I show you guys a lot of kind of what I do, some of the artistic stuff, creative stuff I do, but we don't get too personal. But I think it's worth an explanation, because I think we can really make something happen together. So let me just backtrack a little bit, tell you a little bit about myself and kind of what's been happening in the last 2-3 years. I started out doing all of this stuff with a lot of excitement. Seeing videos on social media really inspired me, as you probably all know, and that pretty much got me started on this journey, and it got me started making videos, and then eventually starting what I do now, which is teaching people how to make videos and starting my academy and starting everything that I've been doing. But somewhere along the road, I hit like a personal roadblock back in 2017, which was super ironic, because that's when every single thing started coming together in my life. And everything that I've been working for the last 2 years, building up my YouTube channel, building up my business, kind of my lifestyle, everything was just like flowing super well. I kind of found myself in Bali with all of these amazing things coming together. My channel really going up, business going up with that, and really finding myself with like crazy amounts of freedom. Like beyond even my comprehension. I would wake up sometimes and be like, fuck, like I can do anything. Like this is crazy. And I had worked really hard for the last couple of years, so I didn't actually have to work that hard in that period of time. So I didn't even have to work that much. And I kind of came to this point where I had almost everything I wanted. Like all of the success that I could have ever dreamed of, in a way. It's not like I had like millions of dollars or anything, but I had, you know, more than enough to survive whilst doing something I loved, I was passionate about. And like for me, that was just like, wow, this is crazy. But with that came this weird feeling of just kind of being lost, like thinking like, now what? And I really looked at myself, and my success made it worse. And I really started having these feelings, and I felt like I was starting to kind of run away from something. And this happened for a couple of months. I was kind of almost distracting myself from something I had inside me that was telling me something's not right. And I was kind of just keeping on going and running. And then eventually I had to kind of face it when I came back to Barcelona after Bali, and I started living on my own. And that's when I kind of had a bit of a personal crisis. I don't know what exactly happened, but I kind of went into this weird, like existential kind of funk with a lot of anxiety. Like I started having panic attacks. I started really feeling super uncomfortable just being myself, and it was a real issue, you know. I had no idea what was going on. I'd felt so kind of confident in the last couple of years just working towards my goals, and then this just kind of hit me out of nowhere. And it set me off like big time. And from there, it's kind of been like a journey of just like recovery. It's kind of been almost like a journey these last few months of just kind of looking deeper within myself and really like questioning, you know, what got me here? Like, what are my values? What do I want to do? Why am I feeling so bad when I have all of these awesome things? And I really had to kind of dig deep and find out answers that, you know, usually I think a 23-year-old wouldn't necessarily have to look for, but for some reason, this kind of hit me out of nowhere. And I started thinking more about social media in general, and this is where this is all kind of leading. And I kind of realized that a lot of the stuff I'd been doing was quite superficial in a way, because there is an amazing side to what I have been doing, and I appreciate that, and I understand from the emails I receive and the community that I've built there's a part of it, well, and actually a lot of it, that's a really amazing thing. When it comes to the creative side of it, when it comes to pushing each other and helping each other grow through learning a creative skill set, it's super exciting and it's really, really fun. But there's this other side of it, which is actually pretty superficial. And I felt like some of the stuff I was making was really just kind of borderline, kind of look at my life, look at what I'm doing, look at what I can do. And, you know, I wasn't trying to make people jealous by any means, but part of it is that, because the novel value of the video, you're seeing somebody do what you can't do. You know, this guy's traveling the world, making videos, having loads of fun. And, you know, there's thousands of people who can't do that, watching that person and being like, great, you know, maybe I feel bad about myself now. And basically my interests just started switching more and more towards things that I'd kind of been neglecting for a while, that I'd kind of been pushing away. And the first one of that is music. And I'd always been brought up playing music. But that's kind of a story for another day. That's helped me a lot, kind of get out of where I was. And the other thing was helping this beautiful natural world that we live in. And this is where I kind of had to dig a bit deeper and really look at the world and what's happening to it and kind of accept that, you know, and see where we're heading. Like, as a human species, it's not a great place if we don't do something about it. And this is where I read a few books. I kind of connected with that side of me that really did care about the world and wanted to give something back rather than just kind of use it as a playground for traveling and having fun. I wanted to take responsibility for what I was doing and help other people see that we need to work together on ourselves and the world to make it a better place, especially the natural world. And this is where I kind of came to a decision point where I could either stop what I was doing, and I really thought about this. Should I stop making travel videos? And should I stop teaching it? And should I just, I don't know, I thought of anything from like starting a non-profit to like doing something really like simple, something working with nature, to starting a completely different channel or something like that. Or I could try and infuse this within my business somehow and within my channel somehow and get the message across to you guys who are already my audience. And this is when I came up with the idea of, for every member of my academy, I'm going to plant a tree. Now, this was kind of like a simple idea that I'd wanted to do for a while. Just like, okay, let's plant a tree for every member. And that way we're kind of giving back. But then I stumbled across this company called Mossy Earth. And they enable businesses to do this in such an incredible way that I started getting really excited about it. And this kind of brings us on to the announcement, and what I'm super excited about is there are a few areas around Europe right now that are in need of help. They're areas of kind of critical danger that are in need of conservation, that are in need of rewilding. And this is where that we can help. There's one area in specific in Portugal that has been hit by horrible, horrible wildfires last year, in the summer of last year. And they were so bad that around 65 people actually died in these fires, let alone thousands of animals. I think it was something, I can't remember the exact figures, but basically thousands and thousands of hectares of land were just completely burned. And this was in a national park, like one of the most beautiful areas of the world. And most people think it wasn't a natural fire. They think that somebody had caused this, and not only had somebody caused it, but it wasn't necessarily natural land that had burnt. And the reason for this is because a lot of what we perceive as natural wild land isn't actually that. If we take, for example, one of like England's most prestigious national parks called Dartmoor, everyone thinks it's kind of this natural wild zone, but it's not. It's essentially one huge farmland that's controlled by farmers and sheep who keep all the grass super short. They don't allow the natural native species to exist there. And so that's what we consider a kind of a wild national park when it's actually not. And the same thing was happening in Portugal. Because some of the species that are supposed to exist in that area don't exist, such as wild horses, that graze the plants, that keep the plants that are very flammable. They graze all of those plants, they keep them down. So if there is a fire, it doesn't spread very quickly. Like, that's how the natural ecosystem is set up to work. Because those animals weren't there because of kind of human intervention, poor management, the wildfires that did happen, which they think was somebody who did it, completely destroyed a huge area of land. And so the guys at Mossy Earth are working with businesses and people to not only just plant a random tree somewhere for every transaction or for every whatever you want, it's planting them in specific areas of need in a very strategic and thought out way. So, for example, in Portugal, they're only planting native species of tree, the ones that were there before. They're planting it in a very strategic manner, and they're also thinking about the exact seasons, they're thinking about the risk of fire, they're thinking about the animals that need reintroducing to that area. So it's a super exciting project that not only will take out CO2 of the atmosphere, make the world a greener place, and help combat what we're polluting into the earth, but because it's a rewilding project, it's literally going to create a kind of ecological paradise. Like, if you think about it, the world is supposed to be a wild place. It's not supposed to be kind of everything completely managed and kind of boring. Actual real wild places, they're very few and far between these days. So by rewilding this area, not only just kind of planting a few trees, but making a real rich ecological area of land, it actually gives, in a way, our creative community something to enjoy for the future. And not just somewhere for you to enjoy for the future, somewhere for your children to enjoy for the future, and maybe even their children as well. So this is a project I'm super excited about. There's actually a few milestones within the Travel Video Academy that we're going to be planting trees. One of them is when a member joins officially, so they pay their first month. One of them is where they complete their training, so they complete the 4 months training. And I've got a few other ideas, such as when somebody wins one of our competitions, they get something like 5 trees. When they came second, they get 3 trees. When they get third place, they get 1 tree. So it's almost like a competition within my academy where whoever is kind of investing the most time, whoever's growing the most, whoever wins prizes, completes the training, has the most trees on the leaderboard. So it's a super kind of exciting incentive for us all to try and do our bit to make the world a better place. I can't believe I didn't think of doing something like this sooner. And it is only the first step to kind of taking a step into this world and trying to take responsibility for what we're doing as well. If you want more information about this, I made a whole page on my website, so go check that out below. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. And you know, if anyone else out there is struggling with mental health issues, or they're struggling with just feeling bad, existential crises, things like that, you know, you're not alone. And there's a lot of people who you probably look up to as people, influential people or cool people or whatever you want to think of them, who actually go through struggles way more than you think. And that was one of the other reasons why I didn't, kind of wrapping this up, why I started not liking social media so much, was because I was putting out there that I had a great life, and at the same time I was kind of feeling like shit. And so I thought, fuck, how many other people are doing this exact same thing? Like, leading an aspirational life that makes people want to be like you, when actually maybe that life is the thing that's creating a lot of kind of sadness or loneliness or anxiety within that person. And maybe the people with jobs and the people who are living more ordinary lives, who had a strong kind of community around them, might actually be feeling better in a way. You know, it's all up to the person. You can have a person who's depressed with their life who isn't a job, a person maybe like me who's depressed with their life who has like an amazing life, if you know what I mean. So it's all about working on yourself and trying to give something back, you know. You may as well, if you're feeling bad, you may as well be trying to make the world a better place rather than just feeling bad and doing nothing. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. As always, keep filming. Speak very soon. Bye-bye.